But Leo, if government is corrupt, doesn't that prove that we need less government? Why are you suggesting more government? That's going to only worsen the problem. Again, this is a misunderstanding of the problem. The problem is not that government is corrupt. The problem is the corruption within government. So yes, there is corruption within government. The solution is not to eliminate government. Because if you eliminate government, guess what? Corruption is not going away. All you're doing is you're just now removing that balance of power such that all the corruption will now be unchecked in the corporate sector. The corporate sector is totally corrupt. Government is a check on that. Even if the government is corrupt, it's still a check on the much larger corruption within the corporate environment. So, the solution is not to reduce government. The government needs to be as big as it needs to be to manage the complexity of the society that we have. As we have more people, of course, government needs to grow. So this idea that we need to reduce government while the population is exploding and while complexity and technology is exploding and accelerating, this is not going to work. What we need to do, the solution, is to remove the corruption from government. And yes, that is possible. That is what's been happening throughout the course of all human history. So if you feel that government is super corrupt right now, you have no idea how corrupt it used to be. 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, you have no idea the kind of corruption that existed. So we've actually come very far. And so this is not some utopian idea that we can remove corruption from government. This has been going on for thousands of years. Since the beginning of human civilization, corruption has been slowly removed from government. And it's been getting better. Of course, it's been ups and downs, but overall there's a clear trend, and that trend is going to continue. So whether you're on board for it or not, government will become less corrupt in the future, with your help or not with your help. It would be better, though, if you got on board and you were on the right side of history here, and you saw the trend lines, and you saw what evolution was moving towards, which is consciousness and love. And consciousness and love is the opposite of corruption, because corruption is selfishness, and consciousness and love is selflessness. So I'm talking about anti-corruption here. Just be careful not to conflate corruption with government. These are two different things. There can be governments that are very corrupt, and there can be governments which are not corrupt. See? Likewise, corruption is not a property that only applies to governments. It applies to business, and it applies to individuals, and it applies to religions. It applies to organizations. Keep that in mind. So removing government is not going to remove corruption. The problem of corruption is extremely deep, and really it's the problem of selfishness, which is, of course, what we're tackling directly with all of our self-actualization consciousness work when we work towards awakening.